Hey everyone, what's up? This is Blaze. Welcome to day 2 of the Polaris test realm. Now, yesterday we went over all the main things, main storyline. I posted a lot of videos on that, so go check it out if you missed it. But today we're going to be looking at some other things. I will be doing the 2 quests from Eloise and Prospector Zeke later in the day, if I can get to it, hopefully. But right now we're going to be looking at the critical and block system and how it's changed and how a lot of people are concerned about it. I kind of am, because I did go through the entire world of Polaris with this new system, and it is a lot more random than the old one, but we're going to be talking about that. To start things off, I wanted to look at the paragraph of text that they have about the new critical and block system and how it's changed. So it starts off by saying, the system for calculating critical and block has been altered to provide more variety in gameplay. Previously, if a wizard's critical rating was higher than their opponent's block rating, they would always land a critical hit against that opponent. That sentence, I had to read through that a lot of times to try to completely understand it. If a wizard's critical rating was higher than their opponent's block rating, they would always land a crit. That doesn't even make sense, because currently my crit is 655, and judging by the past rating for critical and block, if an opponent didn't have 655 block, then I would always crit on them. But that's not even true, because you can block. If someone has high crit and you have like 300 with the old system, it's possible to block, but there's a lower chance than if you had like higher block, like 400. But that's completely out the window. I don't even know what that sentence is trying to explain, but that was the old system anyway, and I kind of have a decent idea of how the old system worked. So it goes on to say, the calculation has been altered as follows. When a wizard casts a spell, the system will calculate a chance for them to achieve a critical hit with a higher chance to succeed based on the critical rating. So that's basically, it gives you a chance to crit based on whatever your rating is, a percentage, which I'll show you guys in a second. Then the system will calculate a chance for the opponent to block that critical hit based on their block rating. This will provide more variety in outcomes compared to the previous all or nothing style system. Okay. So here we go. Let's just look at my storm stats quick and kind of give us an idea of where critical and block rating stands right now. So probably the highest crit that I can get with still decent gear, like decent block, 230. I mean, it was lower before Polaris because I have a new deck on, but still. I had about 200 block, and like 655 crit was the most I would get. 655 now is 74%. In the past, it was easily over 100. It was probably 118, 120, I think. Now it's only 74% chance. So I only have a like 3 out of 4 chance to get a crit off. And then there's a chance that the enemies block, but that chance is actually lower. So here's kind of the give and take of the new critical system. You have a lower chance to crit, and when you do crit though, you have a higher chance of getting the crit through. Because in the past it was like, okay, most storms, if you have like 500 or so crit with the past system, you would crit every time. Like if your crit was over 100%, yeah, you're gonna crit every time. Now to crit every time you need like what, 800 crit. So that's a lot. It's not impossible. Even with later gear, it's probably possible to get 800 crit, but right now it's unlikely. Even with the one vengeance or vengeful elixir, it's not possible to get 800 unless I put on my crit ring too, which I could. I mean, let's see what we got here. I'm not gonna put on. I don't even think I have the crowns. No, I don't even have crowns to put on the vengeful elixir, but it would be 120 extra. This one gives me a little extra crit. I think do I have the boots that give crit? Or the hat? Is it a hat? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just kind of, oh, Desert Rains. Yeah, let's put this on. Let's just see how much. 741 is 92%. So if I put on the Vengeful Elixir, it would be over 100 because that's plus 120. Here's the give and take of this. If I wanted to go 741 crit, 200 block is only 1%. This could also be less than 1% because it's not going to put 0%. So it could also be less than 1%. So let's go back to gear that I would actually use. Master's Cowl. And then I'd probably use the gaze wand. Apparently there's 110 Fortune Teller Eternal Gaze wand, so that's pretty cool. And they give a little better stats, 1% extra on the damage. And I think it switches out the pip chance. Yeah, the power pip chance for Pierce, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, let's look back at these. 617 is 67%. 315 block. I use this wand most of the way through Polaris because of the decent crit and at the time I thought it was decent block, but now 315 is only 5%. So I don't know. I rarely block. I don't feel like it's completely, you know, 5%, like you're never gonna block. You know, if you think about it, like what is 5% chance? That's really low. But still, I feel like I blocked an okay amount. But let's be honest, every time the enemy crit, I felt like I was gonna get crit on, and I did get crit on. I mean, I rarely blocked. But the alternate to that is that enemies don't crit as much. Like, it's just not as common for enemies to crit, which is good. So I mean, that's kind of where it's changed. And then apparently people were saying that the critical for level 100s is not the same way. Like, this only applies to people that are over level 100 or something. I don't understand that. I hope they change it and just make this critical system for the entire game, or maybe at least up into a certain level, like 50 or something, because why would it be level 100 you have a 100% crit rate if you have like 500 crit or so, and then as soon as you hit level 101 you're down to 67% with 600, like, and then you're never gonna block. Okay, so I was thinking about it, like, what if you went back to one of the older worlds with this current crit system, and you, like, back in like Aztec or Chrysalis or something, and those enemies crit a lot? Are you just never gonna block? Like, you're actually at a disadvantage now because those enemies are better because they can crit all the time and you can't block all the time? I don't know how this changed. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Maybe they're just kind of testing it with Polaris in the test room. It is the test room. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's a really weird thing. And I mean, what this system does offer is every piece of gear, like all the pieces of gear that we have, can now like give us a lot more block. So there has to be like new gear, like regular gear pieces now with this system can give block, because they haven't usually, but maybe the next upgrade for Darkmoor gear is going to be stuff that gives block. I was also looking at themes that I had drop in Polaris, and these ones give like 84, 76 block, and my current one only gives 18. So there's definitely a chance for other things to give block, or at least give a lot more block than I've had. Oh, I'm actually using the wrong ring. Like, the Alpha and Omega ring, people use this because it gives 30 block. 30 block now is completely irrelevant. Any person's pet that has block in Polaris is irrelevant because that pet is giving you less than 1% block chance anyway, so it's not even useful at all. So it'll be the implications of this new crit system. I don't really hate it, but it's a big change, and when they change this, a lot of other things have to be changed as well, which, I mean, come on, every other world that has crit, like Celestia, Wintertusk, and on, have to have the systems changed because the enemies just can't crit as much anymore because the block rating is so low. I mean, think about it. In like Chrysalis and Darkmoor and stuff, when you do crit, there is a really low chance that you actually get the crit through. Like, getting the crit through was pretty rare, and now it seems like when you do crit, there's a way higher chance of getting a crit through, and so it's more at the expense of like critting rather than them blocking. It's like you critting rather than them blocking all the time. I mean, yeah, they can block, but there's a lower chance of that actually happening. So it's how the system is changed. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. Let's see if they change it. Let's see if you know, it really does affect the game. Did I notice too much of a difference when I was going through Polaris? Not really, because I tried. Okay, one, I was using Vengeful Elixir to crit a lot, and I crit a decent amount with that. But other than that, I don't know. It's it's not gonna be easy. I don't even want to think about it for PvP because I have no idea how that's gonna change anything when it does, and yeah, it's just gonna be crazy. So let me know what your guys' thoughts of this are. I just feel like the next step is for them to give us gear that kind of matches and kind of balances out this crit and block, because at this current standpoint, it doesn't really balance it out. Like, the block does not balance it out at all. Like, how much block do you have to get to have 100%? A lot. A lot, like 1,000. So, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how it turns out, what the, you know, I mean, it does, the one thing that I really like is that it gives a lot of growth for gear that will give more crit and block. I mean, but it's going to be crazy. I mean, people are going to have insane crits at some point if they continue with this system, because like 800 crit to get 100% is going to be like something that Storms might have in the future. So who knows? A lot of things that could happen. We're just going to have to wait and see and find out. I also feel like the Shadow Pit percentage went down in this road, because maybe it was just me getting unlucky. I don't know. I feel like I didn't get Shadow Pips as much. So I don't know. Is that also a trade-off? Who knows? But that's just how it felt for me. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. If you guys have enjoyed this video, leave a like on it. More Polaris videos to come in the future, so be subscribed for those. And other than that, have an awesome day, and I'll see you all next time.